Hello, and welcome to Fairies, Mermaids, Unicorns, a show about the captivating world of mythical creatures. Today, we will go to the fields of green to meet the wild and sometimes wise centaurs. Centaurs are mythical creatures from Greek mythology. They are often depicted as beings with the upper body of a human and the lower body of a horse. Known for their strength and wild nature, centaurs have captured the imagination for centuries. According to Greek mythology, centaurs were born from the union of Ixion, a king who tried to seduce Hera, the wife of Zeus, and a cloud that was made in her image. The offspring of this union was a creature that had the upper body of a human and the lower body of a horse. Centaurs were often depicted as wild and uncivilized beings who lived in the forests and mountains. They were known for their strength, speed, and skill, with weapons such as bows and arrows. However, they were also notorious for their drunkenness and lustful behavior. Centauromachy is a term used to describe the mythological battle between centaurs and humans. It is a popular subject in ancient Greek art, particularly in pottery and sculpture, where it was often depicted as a chaotic scene of violence and aggression. According to mythology, the conflict between centaurs and humans began when the centaurs, who were known for their wild and drunken behavior, attempted to rape the bride, Hippodamia, during her wedding celebration. This led to a battle between the centaurs and the Lapiths, a tribe of humans who were also present at the wedding. In some versions of the myth, the Lapiths are aided by the hero Theseus, who helps defeat the centaurs. The battle is often seen as a symbolic struggle between civilization and barbarism, with the Lapiths representing order and reason, while the centaurs represent chaos and instinct. Centauromachy has continued to be a popular subject in art and literature throughout history. Symbolically, centaurs have been interpreted in various ways. They represent the dual nature of humanity, embodying both noble and base instincts. They also symbolize the struggle between civilization and wildness, reason and instinct, and can serve as reminders of the importance of self-control and moderation. The most famous centaur in Greek mythology was Chiron, who was known for his wisdom and knowledge of medicine. Unlike other centaurs, Chiron was not born from the union of Ixion and a cloud. Instead, he was the son of Cronus and Philyra, a nymph who had been transformed into a mare. Chiron was raised by Apollo and Artemis and became a wise and respected teacher to heroes such as Achilles and Jason. Chiron, unlike his relatives as it were, was immortal. He lived for a long century on his own Mount Pelion, where even the Olympian gods did not meddle without an invitation. But he did not become a god, nor did he want. Instead, he collected wisdom. He taught those whom he wished, for example, Hercules, Jason, Orpheus, and even Asclepius. It was from him that he learned the beginnings of medicine, which subsequently led him to the status of the god of healing. The fate of Chiron, alas, is sad. Hercules accidentally wounded him with an arrow poisoned by the poison of the Lernaean Hydra. It was impossible to heal this wound, and Chiron longed for death. He eventually traded his immortality for the release of Prometheus, but he did not lose all of his immortality. Now he flaunts it in the sky under the name Centaurus. By the way, this constellation includes the closest star to the Sun, Proxima Centauri. Chiron deserved this more than many. Among other things, he invented astronomy and compiled the first map of the starry sky. Chiron is a unique case. One single wise man outweighed the bad reputation of the whole wild and dangerous tribe. Another famous centaur whose life path intersected with Hercules is the cunning and treacherous Nes. He made an extremely reckless attempt to kidnap the wife of Hercules, Deianira. Naturally, the arrow took down the rapist, but he managed to finally play a dirty trick. He whispered to Deianira that if Hercules suddenly stopped loving her, it was worth rubbing Hercules' cloak with the blood of Nessus. and everything would be as good as possible. The arrows of Hercules, as we remember, were smeared with the poison of the Hydra, which penetrated the blood of Nessus. This was the idea. When Deianira doubted her husband, she tried a miraculous remedy, with predictable results. Zeus took Hercules to Olympus, and Deianira was left behind. A rational explanation of mythology suggests that centaurs were originally a tribe of horse-riding people who lived in the mountains of Thessaly in ancient Greece. Over time, these people became associated with the mythological creatures we now know as centaurs. In art and literature, centaurs have been depicted in a variety of ways. In ancient Greek art, they were often portrayed as muscular and powerful beings, while in modern depictions, they are sometimes shown as more humanoid creatures with only slate-a-queen features. Centaurs have also been used as symbols in various contexts, such as to represent the duality of man's nature, or the struggle between reason and passion. Female centaurs, also known as centaurides, are a variation of the classic centaur mythological creature. Like their male counterparts, female centaurs are typically depicted with the upper body of a human and the lower body of a horse. In ancient Greek mythology, centaurides were often portrayed as wild and lustful creatures, similar to male centaurs. However, there were some notable exceptions. For example, the centauroid Helenome was said to have been deeply in love with the mortal warrior Silurus and committed suicide when he was killed in battle. In art and literature, female centaurs have been depicted in a variety of ways. In some depictions, they are shown as powerful and athletic beings, while in others they are more delicate and graceful. Some artists have emphasized their feminine qualities by adding long hair and other traditionally feminine features to their human upper bodies. In popular culture, female centaurs have appeared in various forms of media, including video games, movies, and TV shows. For example, in the Harry Potter series, the character Firenze is a male centaur who teaches divination at Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry. But his herd includes female centaurs who are described as being wise and respected among their kind. Centaurs have been a popular subject in art and culture throughout history. In ancient Greek art, centaurs were often depicted in battle scenes alongside other mythological creatures, such as satyrs and giants. These depictions emphasized their wild and violent nature and their association with the untamed forces of nature. In medieval art, centaurs continued to be portrayed in a similar manner, but also began to take on more allegorical meanings. They were often used to represent the struggle between the spiritual and physical aspects of human nature, with the human upper body symbolizing the soul and the horse's lower body representing the body and its desires. Centaurs have also made appearances in literature and fiction. For example, in C.S. Lewis's Chronicles of Narnia series, centaurs are depicted as honorable and wise creatures who serve as advisors to the rulers of Narnia. Centaurs are wise, valiant, and incapable of betrayal. Astrology and divination are their original occupations. They are asked for advice by both kings and ordinary people in Narnia. In war, centaurs are powerful and furious. Both friends and enemies deserve respect. Perhaps the most famous example is the centaurs in J.K. Rowling's Harry Potter series. In the novels, the centaurs live in the Forbidden Forest near Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry, and are known for their prophetic abilities and disdain for humans. In general, centaurs in games are less common than one might expect. The centaur definitely does not qualify as a brainless monster, which means that his story should be more interesting. The author should come up with a whole story why the player has to be at war with the centaurs, and even then, the extermination of centaurs, even if they are hostile, does not cause much pleasure. Well, in our games, the need for friendly and intelligent creatures is much less than for mindless, brutal monsters. Also, a centaur is very difficult to animate convincingly. It is not clear to us how a creature with such a peculiar skeleton moves. Clearly, not like a rider. Even the animation of horses is sometimes a challenge for a computer game engine, so the developers often choose to neglect such troubles altogether. In the video game series, The Elder Scrolls, Centaurs are portrayed as violent and savage enemies that must be defeated by the player character. In strategies, Centaurs are assigned the role of specific cavalry or archers, sometimes both. So, for example, in Fantasy General or Master of Magic, they make up the most important part of the army of beastmen. And in Heroes of Might and Magic, they manage to serve both the dungeon sorcerers and the forest elves, as well as the wild warriors of might. Overall, centaurs hold a prominent place in Greek mythology, offering a vivid portrayal of the clash between civilization and untamed nature. They serve as enduring symbols of duality and the struggle to balance our human instincts with our higher aspirations.